M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the MGB Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages.
My name is Graham Bagshaw, and my co-host and creator of this podcast is proof that wrestling fans live with their parents. My 10-year-old son, Mason.
Alright, this is A13. This was 37 in a row. This was the last Nova Pro event of 2018. It was at the Annandale Volunteer Fire Department on Thursday, December 27th, 2018. And I think for only the second time this year, neither of us were there, because we were actually in Ohio. I know we missed one event when we were out in England. We went to watch on Powerbomb, and same for this. Now, actually, we watched this at different times. You were actually in bed. I watched it live, and then you watched it a few days later. I'm going to be interested to see how this goes. I don't remember recording one 2 weeks after I actually watched it. Like the one that we watched when we missed it from England, we recorded it like the next day.
Yeah.
And when you were in Ohio, you watched it, and then we still recorded even then. So I'm going to be interested to see how this goes. Now, the one thing that we don't have, having watched it on Powerbomb TV, I thought we got to see the pre-show as well. No pre-show at all. They just go straight to the regular show.
Oh.
It said you could watch it on Facebook. I didn't know that at the time, and if you can watch it after the event on Facebook, I don't know how you do it. So we're just going to give you the results for this one. A lot of people whose names I didn't recognise, actually, in the first one. The first match, Casey Dillon pinned Amanda Rodriguez, and in the second one, the Gator Pit, obviously we do know who they are, defeated the Capital Vicers, Innocent Isaiah, Josh Fuller, and Mac Buckler when Garvin splashed Buckler against the ropes. 12 minutes, 52 seconds. That's a long match for a pre-match. The first one was only 4 minutes and 22. So we didn't get to see anything about that.
20 minutes of pre-show.
That's, yeah, because obviously you got the introductions as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it goes from when the bell dings to when the bell dings. I don't quite know how they time it. I assume it must be. It can't be on introductions. Otherwise, when you got that many people coming out, it would be a lot. Now, I got to be honest, I actually missed the first match on Powerbomb. I set everything up, got Powerbomb loaded up, and it said, a message came up and said, starting soon. I waited about 15 minutes. It still said starting soon. I was like, well, this is weird. And I looked on Twitter, and people already posted about the first match. So I refreshed my stream just in time to see the finish for this match. Now, I went back and rewatched it anyway. So the first match was Nick Gage versus John Kerman. All right, what you got for this one?
Oh,
Well, you're pulling a face, which suggests you don't have anything for this, though.
I don't remember watching that. You never showed that to me.
I started it from the beginning. I don't know why you don't have anything.
The first match I have is Penelope Ford and Harlow O'Hara.
That's match 2.
Oh yeah, you said something about you couldn't get match 1.
I got match 1.
No, you said something about you said that this is match 2. I remember when I came down. No joke. As soon as...
Alright, so we don't have anything for the kickoff show. We don't have anything for the first match. Actually, I forgot something. While I was waiting for all this stuff while Powerbomb was being slow, I looked on Twitter. I did see some of Nick Gage. He was there out checking the weapons out. They showed him walking outside and walking amongst the fans, and he was checking what people had and different things. We saw Maddie had a bucket, and it looked like a bucket of candy floss to me. I found out later it was like a piñata, and it had push pins or drawing pins, whatever you want to call them, inside. People had they have wrapping paper. There was a Batman figure.
A wood with a nail inside.
Yeah. I think he liked that one. I think he made a comment
Nick Gage
about that
said
one.
that he gave them a pizza cutter.
There was a pizza cutter as well, yeah.
Batman figure.
I said Batman.
Oh.
I said Batman. So that was the stuff we had for this one. The only thing I do remember about this one, actually, was things I saw on Twitter. Nick Gage actually apologised after this match. He injured I think it was his foot or something, which is quite appropriate right now, because I injured my ankle yesterday, or 2 days ago, and I've been on crutches for the last few days. He apologised for the quality of the match that he actually gave. Now, I didn't look like at the start of the match he was injured particularly. It looked like it was more in the match, but it sounds like it's something he's been working against recently. Anyway, Nick Gage pinned John Kerman with 5 minutes. It was a fairly short match anyway.
You can't have a match when you're broke.
He won though. Nick Gage was injured, but he still actually won. But
you can't have like an hour match when you're...
Correct. It's certainly going to limit what you can do. Alright, should we get to something that we do have something on then? Alright, match 2 was Harlow O'Hara versus Penelope Ford. Alright, what you got for this then, Mason?
Hara rolled all around the ring for like... She rolls, like, around the ring, like...
What do you mean rolls around the ring? Like lying on the floor and rolling out on the side?
I think they have, like, a pin cover, and then they're, like, rolling around the ring. And then it was, like, a beautiful pin at the end. But it was still a 2 count because it was, like, basically the start of the match.
Okay.
Multiple shots with Ford hanging from her knees.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, from the people that I hear are wrestlers, and, like, mainly the WWE commentators, they say it puts a lot of pressure on your knees when they do that. That has to hurt a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then if you have the migraine in the middle of that...
Did you say a migraine? That's nothing to do with your knees.
I know, with your head, when you're hanging upside down.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I thought you thought a migraine was an affliction of the knees.
No.
Okay.
And then it looked like, I thought it was a halation hold.
Okay.
I think that's how Harlow won.
I have here, and this is taken from PW Ponderings again.
Okay, that's right.
She defeated Penelope Ford with a leg capture DDT in 6 minutes 30. And that move you mentioned, I don't know what that is, so I can neither say here or there. Now, you'll notice I haven't said anything at all. I don't have anything for this match. All I did was I wrote down the title. I put Penelope had her moments, but it was an easy win for Harlow in the end. Now, this actually, I'm not sure, this might be the last time we get to see Penelope Ford. And the fact that we've actually waited a long time since we recorded, the announcement came out in Jacksonville this week at AEW, and they've signed Penelope Ford. I think that's a great signing for AEW. They signed Joey Janela as well. And they signed a few people who we know who've been at Nova Pro recently. MJF was one person they've signed as well.
Fuller?
No, they haven't signed Josh Fuller.
Oh.
No.
Oh, was it?
You know what AEW is, right?
No.
That's the All Elite Wrestling. That's the Cody Rhodes thing.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so that's like, could be the next big thing that could challenge WWE potentially.
Oh,
But
what? Josh Fuller was AIW? Or something like that.
he went to CZW.
CZW.
Or he mentioned CZW on Twitter. I haven't followed that up at all recently, so I'm not quite sure when it is. I don't know how often they have matches. I'm not really that into CZW. I know its reputation, but it's not one... I've seen like little bits on Powerbomb, but it's not one I watch regularly, I certainly wouldn't say. So, yeah, interesting to see, but we saw Penelope Ford also at Fury Pro as well, and I know we were really impressed with her, and I think that's a great signing by AEW. Alright, match 3. This was a rematch from the Sadie Hawkins International. This was Team Sadcamp versus the Ugly Ducklings.
To start off with, I thought it was Sad Camp.
It's like a German word. K-A-M-P-F. I recognise it as a German word. My German is not so good. I haven't done German in 25 years since I was at school. So I have no idea what it actually means. Unless it just means sad camp. It might literally mean that. I don't know. Although sad I don't think is a German word.
Sad Camp?
I got something for the beginning of the match if you don't
Yeah,
know.
me too.
Oh, okay.
To start off this match, they were 2-0.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
They did make an impressive start, I know that. The thing I had for the start of the match is they had the ring announcer, Andy, doing the quacks with them. You know how they all put their arms in and then go quack, quack? They dragged Andy in to do that. Now, I'm not sure if it's Andy or Andrew. I think I've heard them say both now, so I don't know if it makes any difference. So I apologise if I'm being rather too formal by saying Andy. Okay, what about the match itself?
I think it was... I still don't even know who Robin Lance is. I think it was, like, Rob got Guarini in a pretzel-shaped hole.
Was it the tall one or the shorter one?
The tall one.
The tall one's Rob.
Okay. Rob got Guarini in a pretzel-shaped hold, which was really cool.
Uh-huh.
That was really cool, and I like that. Rob did, like, 3 backflips and mistimed them all.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
It
I
wasn't all
remember
at
that.
once.
I remember talking about that.
He did, like, an overtime.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, it didn't quite work. I had one thing I liked that Rob did do. When he was being held in one move, he licked his hands to try and escape, to try and reduce the friction, like make himself slippy, and it actually worked. I thought that was kind of funny. I like that.
Oh yeah, there was a launch back whack off the apron onto the outside, which was crazy.
I have that that's the only other thing that I wrote down. I was like, that was absolutely ridiculous. Like, you know you're going to get your signature moves with the Ducks. Like, you're going to get their Ducks Day machine or whatever it's called. You know
Ducks Day device?
There you go. You know you're going to get a Launchpad McQuack. You know you're going to get the Duck Duck Goose. You're going to get all those things in there. But yeah, I've never seen the Launchpad McQuack from the ring apron before. And it looked really good.
Yeah.
It looked really good. That's the only thing I had. Well, also with Ducks,
ending.
You got the ending? Good.
Yeah.
Because for the Ducks matches, I find it hard to take notes because I just want to watch the match.
Okay.
So if it's something unusual. But yeah, go ahead. What you got?
It was another Launchpad McQuack and to finish off the match.
And it was pinning Dominic Guarini as well. I'm not sure who was pinning Guarini, but he was the one that got pinned. He was the one that got pinned. Now, actually, there's a little bit more to this match as well. So, do you have anything else for this after the match?
Yeah, Money Green and Sin, I think it's Capital Vices, attacked the Ugly Ducklings.
They did. So, they came out a while ago and said that they were going to try and dominate the Nova Pro tag team, and then we've never really seen much of them, so that was kind of good that sort of brought that story back again.
It's kind of like, we saw them in Crab Wrestling, and now they're big.
Yeah, they were good in Crab Wrestling as well.
We haven't seen them for a long time, and then we saw them there, and then we saw them at Crab Wrestling, then we saw them at Hoppy Place, and now they're on 37.
Yeah, they've been there a few times recently.
Yeah.
Money Green actually said hi to Jackson when we were at Crab Wrestling, which was cool. We took him to the bathroom, and he said, "Hey, you enjoying it?" And Jason was like, "Yeah." And he gave him like a high five, and he really appreciated that.
I thought in Crab Wrestling, I think Money Green's his face.
And it certainly looked like it.
Yeah, and
from
then
what we saw, we've only been to
Nova Pro,
one.
he's a heel.
It certainly looks like that. That's kind of weird when you go from one to another, and you don't necessarily know which is which. Like, we've seen Bobby Shields as well. Like, NCW is definitely a face with Bobby! And then you go to Nova Pro, and right now he's kicking people in the dingo, and it's a totally different character. I got one quote from Twitter. Dylan Hales comes out with some really good quotes. He's definitely the person to watch if you're watching matches alongside it. He said, let's make this best of 7 match. I'd be okay with that. I'd be quite happy watching Sad Camp versus Ugly Ducklings again. I think it's really good. It's 1-1 right now. I can't imagine them leaving it like that, because every match they've had together has been good. Neither of those teams disappoint. All right, match 4. I got Jordan Blade versus Faye Jackson. Okay, what you got for this one?
It was a pretty even test of strength at the start, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't know, like, Jordan Blade was one of those, like, really strong people, but I knew Faye was one of those.
Yeah.
I think I know. I've been watching, like, wrestling and trying to, like, get some tips. Like, I know a couple of things, like, basic ones. And I think I know how to, like, work on your, like, help your opponent look strong in the test of strength when they're already on the floor. You could, like, pull them up and pretending they're, like, pushing you. Because that would be almost impossible to push.
It would be very difficult to do that, for sure. Although once you're on the ground, it's easier because you're pushing yourself against the floor. Yeah. So you can push back. But when you're, like, halfway when you're midair, there, it's really difficult.
Yeah, so you had to kind of pull them up a little.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that sunset flip by Faye. She does that, like, almost all the time now. And it's still really amazing.
Yeah.
I got here multiple holds by Blade. Yes. She's turning out to be like Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, like, I got that she had a chokehold as well, and she was the only reason that Faye got out of it was because she managed to get her foot on the rope.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I have the ending.
Okay, a few other things. There was a few squashes against the ring post. Obviously, Faye uses her size to her advantage with things like that.
Oh, yeah, except when she's facing Tara Calloway.
It's difficult then, of course. Jordan Blade managed to also get the triangle locked in as well. I thought Jordan Blade had a really strong out in this one. That was the main thing that I took away from this. I looked at this and thought this could be a squash match. And I thought Jordan Blade really held her own. She also had a big input in Hoppy Place as well when she came out and helped, I can't remember her name, Rebel, I think it was, the person who was the Dallas cheerleader, or former Dallas cheerleader. So she's definitely getting more of a bigger impression the last few times as well. Go ahead, take us to the outing.
A pile driver by Faye for the 3 count.
And the special name for that is the Drop It Like It's Hot. That's what it says on the commentary from hearing. Okay. Apparently it says it's, and I've never heard this one, a Michinoku driver. I've never heard of that one. But actually, I've heard it Drop It Like It's Hot. I've heard people mention that, because obviously you want to give it your own name based on your character. All right, match 5. I have... this was supposed to be a triple threat match.
I have that mystery guy that we couldn't find out. His name is Harlan Provada.
I got it down here as well.
Yeah, he was the guy that got injured, that we didn't know his name.
Oh, we talked about that recently. Yeah, this was supposed to be a triple threat to begin with. I'm trying to remember who it was supposed to be. And actually, I think it was supposed to be Logan, Safety First, and Yuta. And then I think they just threw in Bravado. I'm not sure if it's because Colt Cabana didn't make this match.
Oh yeah, and that wasn't Nova. That was Nova Pro's fault, wasn't it?
It turned out to be something like that. Yeah, they apologized that he couldn't make it, and then Colt Cabana said, "Hey, I just want you to realize it was Nova Pro's fault that we didn't get there." And Nova Pro said, "Sorry if we didn't make that clear. Yes, it was our fault that he didn't get there. Obviously, it's something to do with travel arrangements, I guess." So I'm not sure if that's who we were supposed to be fine, but they just threw Bravado in as a last minute thing. So Logan Easton Lareau, Harlan Bravado, Safety First, and Wheeler Yuta. Okay, what you got?
And Tim Donst is not safety for. I mean, he is safety first this time, which I really like that.
He's also safety first at the next one they've announced as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like he's coming back as safety first, which is a good thing.
Well,
as far as I'm concerned, anyway.
Logan tries to kick Tim, and then Tim catches Logan's leg, and then they're in like a circle, so he passes it to Pravada, and then Pravada passes it to Wheeler, and then...
He spun around several times.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny.
And then it goes around, and then they get Logan's leg in a submission. Mm-hmm. And then Pravada gets a submission, and then so on, and then so on. And then it's like a submission train.
Yeah.
And then Tim does an old school from the first rope, from the bottom rope.
Yeah, he faked everybody out. It looked like he was going for the suicide dive. Everyone started moving out of the way for nothing. It was on the side where Zach and Maddie were, because I could see them, and they started moving out of the way. And then, he just went down to the lower part, and then he didn't really do anything down. He stepped out, and then he did his move. But I like things like that. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I would rather see that than see suicide dives all the time. You know you're going to see suicide dives. Like, Sage Phillips is going to do a suicide dive. There's a few people there who will do stuff like that.
Talking about suicide dives, Tim's about to do one, and then he stands he gets a chair, he stands on the chair, and then does an axe hammer on the outside. Mm-hmm. That was pretty funny, and Logan and Yuta have to fight on their knees for safety.
I'm hoping you got something for us. I don't have anything for the end at all. Well, I have the ending listed, but I didn't have anything else.
Tim clotheslines Logan on his head, and that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Tim gets Yuta on Harlan's shoulders, and then Tim sweeps the legs. Mm-hmm. That was pretty funny. So Wheeler's not that tall though either, but it still has to hurt when you're on top of somebody's shoulders and then you still fall down from that height. Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Tim's, okay, I have nothing else.
Alright, the ending then. Yuta gave Bravado a reverse brainbuster, but LaRoe actually took the advantage of it, so he got Yuta out of the way, and then he won. And what we didn't say at the start was, which I should have mentioned, is it gets him a future Powerbomb TV Championship match. Mm-hmm. Now, however, it's not called Powerbomb TV. It was called Powerbomb TV when I watched it, and then suddenly on January 1st, I went to log on to Powerbomb TV, and it didn't load up as Powerbomb TV. I was like, what the heck happened? It's now called Independent Wrestling TV, which the name makes more sense. It explains exactly what it is. Like, if I told somebody who doesn't follow wrestling Powerbomb, I guess you could figure out a Powerbomb might be from wrestling, but you might not know what that term is.
Yeah,
if I said Independent Wrestling TV, you obviously know it's Independent Wrestling. Yeah. I like Powerbomb. Everyone on Twitter still calls it Powerbomb as far as I can tell.
Is it still Powerbomb on Twitter?
No.
Oh.
No, they've switched everything, so it says at Independent TV now or something. I don't exactly remember their Twitter handle. So a few days later, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams was defending against Orange Cassidy to find out who would probably be facing Logan at some point in the future. And actually, Orange Cassidy won the title. I mean, I think that he'd actually...
I don't even know who that is.
It's somebody I've seen a few matches from, but I'm not very familiar with him.
I thought it might be Big Cass, but it's not.
It's not Big Cass.
Because, like, his name in NXT was Colin Cassidy.
Colin Cassidy, yeah. He goes, like, by Kaz or something like that. It's got like 3 Z's in his name or something crazy. It's close enough you can tell. So, it looks like Orange Cassidy will be the one who will face Logan. Alright, now you sort of hinted at this then. So what happens after the match? Logan celebrating?
And then Alexander James comes out, and then he beats Logan. He's attacking. And then he challenges Logan to a match in February.
He did. And he gave him basically 2 options. He said, I can come out and beat you up match after match, which I would have been okay with actually.
Yeah.
Or B, one more time in February, and if I win, then I'm back. So basically he said he was going to honour it, but then he's like, I can't do that anymore. He's like, it wasn't fair. And it wasn't fair. The way he lost that match, it wasn't fair. So I think that's good that he's going to come back. So that'll be a good way to set up the new year. Nova Pro doesn't do things in January, so February will be that first one. What else do I have for this? And then actually that was the intermission. Now, in the intermission, I knew on Powerbomb it would just be commercials. Normally when we're there, we'd go and talk to some wrestlers and we'd talk about who we met, what they said, what pictures we got. I actually started watching one of the commercials because it actually looked interesting. A show, I think it's called Southern Heritage. It's presented by Kerry Awful, who we know anyway from the comedies.
Oh, yeah.
And he interviews people like Kevin Koo, Dominic Guarini, who we just talked about in Sad Camp. I saw they also interviewed Alley Cat. Mm-hmm. And so it's definitely got a Nova Pro theme to it. So I think that might be something that I'll watch. I'll check it out, see if it's PG. If it's PG, you can listen, Mason. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't remember if it was or not. I know I grabbed a few snacks as well, and then I came back for match 6. So match 6 was Brian Johnson versus Isaiah Frazier. And the stipulation for this one was, as people had been interfering in the match, Coach Gator had to go in a shark tank. And everyone else was banned from ringside. Mm-hmm. Okay, alright, tell us about this one then.
Gator's head sticks out of the shark tank.
It did. That shark tank looks so small. Compared to the ones we've seen like when on WWE, when I think Jericho had to go in one time. I'm trying to remember who else. Did Enzo have to go in one at one time? They used a much smaller... And it was on the floor as well. Because we thought it was going to be suspended in the air, which would have been funny, but it was on the ground. Ellsworth, that's who it was, yeah. Because he actually helped Carmella in that Oscar match. Mm-hmm. All right, go ahead.
And then, after that, Brian does a Ric Flair walk where he does the...
Yeah.
Yeah, where he
that's great for audio, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he struts his arm sort of forward and does that robot type down, yeah.
And then Money Green used to be Isaiah Frazier's mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Yeah. With him being on Crowd Wrestling, yep.
I don't have much for the actual match, but Andy's facial expressions on the outside are great.
I don't have much either, actually. I've got Gators in the shark tank, which we already talked about. He did strangle innocent Isaiah when the ref was not looking. Like, Brian pushed him up against the cage, and of course he made advantage of that. And then after that, I thought, that's it. That's pretty much all I got. I got Isaiah Frazier wins, and then I have a few things after the match. But
I have some before that.
Okay.
So, Brian gives Isaiah Gator gives Brian a chain through the tank. And then he punches Isaiah with it, and then Isaiah gets hit, and then he hides it on Isaiah's trunks. And then Isaiah wins with a knee, and then beats Gator and Brian after the match.
Alright, I got a couple of things before that. We did have Isaiah Frazier poking Gator through the cage, because obviously he couldn't escape, and he'd probably deserve that. He also shoved some hot dog sandwiches in his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
In his mouth, sorry. Gave him a couple of chops, he put him back in the ring, and he finished him off with the knees, which he talked about already. Now, after that match, the Gator Pit did actually come out to help, and they actually rolled him back through the curtain, because he couldn't get up off the floor, so they pushed him through. Mikey Banker said, "You ought to be ashamed of yourselves." Yourself. There was one person. It was Isaiah Frazier. That was it. Unless he was talking to the fans, I'm not sure.
I think he was talking to the fans.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what they were doing.
Because they were probably cheering.
Probably. And as they pushed him through the curtains, we did see Savage Gentleman in the back. So we knew that he was coming up.
All I saw was under the curtain, you could see Coach Gator instantly get up.
Oh, you could? Yeah. Oh, I missed that. I saw Savage Gentleman there, because obviously his match was coming up soon. Alright, match 7 was Alley Cat versus Sage Phillips for the PWF Tri-State Championship. My gosh, on Powerbomb, they made a big deal that Ali and Sage were big friends and that they ride the car together. And like, this could be a really uncomfortable ride at the end. And they really went over that.
They said that they lived in the same apartment house next to each other, next door.
Yeah, they made a big deal about that.
Is that actually true?
I have no idea.
Sometimes they just make up stuff.
Ali's from the Midwest. I know Sage is from that sort of area as well. So they're certainly from that same sort of area, but I couldn't honestly comment on that. Okay, talk about the match.
Oh yeah, apparently Ali's from the local animal shelter.
Is that what they said on commentary?
No, and when Andy was announcing them.
Oh, I got one more thing for the introductions as well. There'd been no streamers in this match at all until Alley Cat came out, and then finally there were streamers. Mm-hmm. And that's actually what we did when we were at Hoppy Place as well, because you said, no, I want to save some streamers for Alley Cat because she'll play with them when I throw them in. And she did. She was a really good sport with that. So I think people know to save streamers for Alley because she'll actually utilize them rather than just ripping them up and throwing them straight on the outside. I rewatched a bit of Hoppy Place, actually. Did you throw the streamer to Swoggle?
Yes.
You can see it really well. You throw it in, he catches it, he's like, yay, throws it to the outside, and then goes, throw it back in, and then you throw it back in again, and then he goes back out.
I threw some good streamers on Hoppy Place.
There were some good ones.
Especially that Tito one. That landed right on that Mikey Banker's...
And I skipped that match, actually. I didn't bother watching that. I watched a few of the matches again. I watched some at the end. I wanted to see Swoggle's match again, and I wanted to see Logan and Ali again. And I think I watched the first one with John Kerman as well, because I wanted to see that one again, too. All right, what about this match, then? I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked.
Ali yanks the cage out of the corner and into, like, the dropping... I don't know what it says. I think it says dropping punt. It makes no sense.
You know when I said read through your notes ahead of time, so you don't have a point where it's like, I have no idea what this says. That's the type of thing I was talking about. Alright, let me read what I got here.
Oh, I hit it. So I remember where it is. So Sage is in, like, the corner, and then he yanks his feet out of the corner into, like, the ending part of, like, a powerbomb.
Okay.
I thought that was really cool. Instead of lifting him all the way up, like, yank him out the corner and into the powerbomb.
Okay.
And I love the Curse of X-Bomb from Sage. It's a great move.
Okay.
It's like he gets him on his back, and then I don't know, like, I thought Allie got the move from it, but actually Sage cut it. But I was a little confused because it was, like, so cool.
I only got one thing, actually. I have that Sage was pinned by Ali, and it looked like a straight 1, 2, 3, and you're like, is he going to get his foot on the rope? And he couldn't. He got his foot under the rope, and they said that if that breaks the plane of the ring,
I didn't know that.
That's what I got hit. I've never seen that before.
No.
Because people always mock them when they're like ring awareness and things like that, like ring awareness, like you can just go. I have never seen that before, where you actually get your foot under the rope. Because I would have thought, if you're in trouble and you're being pinned, isn't it more difficult to lift your foot up and put it on a rope? From now on, wouldn't you just always just kick it out sideways and just hope that it's far enough out? Because you've actually physically got to reach that rope. Now, I'm the mathematician here. I know that if you're lying on the floor, the distance from the ground to where the rope is further than the distance from the ground to where the edge of the rope is if you're going straight along the ground. So it's actually more difficult to do. I thought that was cool. I wonder if that is a real rule or if that's just a Nova Pro rule.
I wonder if you can slap the rope and it would break the count.
I think once you've reached it, then they're supposed to break, right?
Yeah.
But if you didn't see it...
But here's something to ask Matt. If you're in a submission...
Oh, he's going to love that you're asking him this. I was deliberately not mentioning him by name.
And then you slap the rope. Does that count as a break? Or do you have to hold on to it until they break?
Alright, Matt. I know you take notes anyway, so you can let us know later what the deal is for that. I have the finish, and that's it. Or you can do the finish as well.
Go ahead.
Butterfly DDT and Sage retains. I thought it was actually... Well, that's what I had written down. And then when I looked later, it said it was a double underhook brainbuster. So anyway, I didn't get the proper one. But I think I got the Butterfly DDT from the commentary. But sometimes they post different things. Sage did pull Ali back into the ring afterwards. Gave her a big hug. There were some boos. There was also some of these... both these wrestlers... It was a great match. I like Alley Cat. I like Sage Phillips. Alley Cat's been in some good matches recently with Sage, with Logan. There's been some of those. Somebody actually talked about this recently, about those intergender matches.
Yeah.
And I mentioned on Twitter, I said, how do I explain to my son when he says, why is there no intergender matches on WWE when you have great matches at Nova Pro, like Ali versus Logan, Ali versus Sage? If you could have somebody like
Jordan Grace versus Freddie A. High.
Something like that. If you could have...
That was an actual match.
That was an actual match.
Yeah, that was cool.
If you could have Seth versus Becky at WrestleMania, I can't give a good argument why WWE doesn't have those right now. I know that they says it's to do with their fan base wouldn't like it or the advertisers wouldn't like it, but you would get some great matches. And for that reason, I'm glad that we go to the Indies and we see some of those great matches. You still haven't seen Brian Cage versus Jordan Grace yet either. That was a really good one.
I liked Brian Cage versus PCO.
Oh, well, you'll like this one then as well. Alright, that's last match, I think. Match 8, Eric Royal versus Victor Benjamin. It's a lot less because we didn't do the pre-card this time.
Oh, yeah. This is not the last match.
Oh, no, it's not. No. You're right. Never mind. For some reason, I thought Victor Benjamin was the main event, and never mind.
No.
That's because that was at the last one, wasn't it, when they did the thing. Alright, I'm sorry. Match 8, Eric versus Victor Benjamin.
Victor Benjamin comes out without Lady Frost.
I had that as well. That was really weird.
Yeah, and Lady Frost isn't on the whole card.
It might be she was wrestling somewhere else.
True.
It was something I meant to look up, and then I just never really got round to it at all.
Yeah, but they're always, like, together, aren't they? I've never seen them
I haven't seen them apart.
Except for, like, when I didn't even... Well... Yeah.
They were there even when they were at the tryout show. They were together at that point.
Yeah, and the Cybernetico.
So I've always seen them together. Yeah, no, it stood out for me. Now, with this being the show around Christmas time, one thing I did get for this that I thought was funny. Eric picked up that hot dog that we talked about earlier. It was on the floor, shoved it in Victor Benjamin's face, and was like, Powerbomb TV, Happy Christmas. I thought that was pretty funny. That was kind of disgusting. Food that's been on the floor, that could have been trodden on, and I'm sure he kept his mouth closed, because you wouldn't want to eat that at all. Alright, what do you got for this match?
I wonder if Eric Royal likes Space Jam. Because he had, the first move of the match is a huge face jam.
What's a face jam?
It's when he, like, slams his face in the ground.
Like a bulldog?
Yes, like a bulldog.
Oh, okay.
And the Eric's, yeah.
What's that got to do with Space Jam?
It sounds like alike.
Face Slam and Space Jam?
No, space and face.
So you think that if he likes things that rhyme, that he'd probably like that as well?
I don't know.
I'm gonna try
I know he likes basketball.
So I wonder if he likes duplexes as well, because he does suplexes.
What is a duplex?
It's like some housing. I'm gonna guess that's not true. Oh god. You better have some moments for this, because I'm gonna need something to compose myself for a second.
Victor suplexes Eric, and Eric almost hits a moonsault. That was like you know what a moonsault is? I don't know the difference between a moonsault and a lion salt. I thought they're the same thing.
That I don't know.
I thought they were the same thing.
We'll find out by the next episode.
Through this through the snow. Victor Benjamin threw the snow bits that Lady Frost does. He hits Eric Royal with it and into a cyclone kick for the 3 count.
That's exactly what it says here. It says on here, a salt-like substance, but I think it's more like snow because of, like
foam.
You said...
I thought it was foam.
Because of Lady Frost and her character. I got one bit of commentary that I really liked. There was a great power slam by Victor Benjamin, and they said, he makes looking bad so good. I thought that was good. I like that bit there.
Oh.
And, everything else that I had down, you just covered, so that's perfect.
I wonder if maybe they could use, like, those pearls that you could get, like, for those pearls that you eat. You know how they put, like, those tiny pearls on top of cupcakes?
Okay.
I think those would make good, like, snowballs.
That might hurt if they got in your eyes. Because they're sharp.
No, they're not. They're round.
Alright, okay.
Those pearls.
The things on top of cupcakes I think would hurt if they went in your eyes.
Not the rings.
Rings?
Like, sometimes they have, like, things on cupcakes where you have rings behind them, too, so you could...
Well, you got your birthday coming up in a week, so I guess we'll check out cupcakes and I'll pay a little more attention next time.
Mommy's making the
I think those foam things make more sense, because you can wash that out of your eye. So I think that would make more sense. What else? Oh, between the matches, Andy and the ref had to sweep the ring clean like they did at Hoppy Place. But they didn't have a brush this time. They had to use like their foot to begin with, and eventually someone sent a brush in and they started to clear it out. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a similar thing. Match 9, Jonathan Gresham versus Bro Keller.
As soon as the match starts, Bobby comes, attacks Bro, and hits the ref in his dingo.
In the ding-ding, it said on the commentary.
I still like dingo better.
I like dingo as well. Matt likes that you use dingo. You got your own little PG word that you could use.
And they had to restart the match.
Now, I actually just posted on Twitter before this match, I was like, I'd like to thank Bobby Shields for interfering in that last match, so we get to see this match properly again. And then within 30 seconds of that happening, Bobby Shields came out and ruined the match, so I had to delete that tweet. I was like, are you kidding me? I was really happy with Bobby and then really annoyed with him at the next second.
And, well, they restarted the match.
They had to ask for permission. Gresham actually came on the mic, and he says, Mike, is Mike around? He's like, can we restart the match? And, of course, Mike said yes, because everyone wanted to see that match. Everyone would have been really annoyed. I think he complained last time, or, like I said, I didn't travel here 3 hours just so I could, or 5 hours, whatever it was, just to not have a match. So, Gresham really wanted a match as well.
So I got some huge height on Bro's leaps.
Oh. You ought to see the pictures that Jay Lee takes. They're amazing. You're looking at me like, how does he get up there? It's like, it defies physics. He just gets he's got a really good vertical leap.
Yeah.
It looks really impressive.
Flying knee off apron by, Gresham. Mm-hmm. I mean, Bro. Mm-hmm. Bro catches Gresham in a crossbody, and Bro jumps Gresham and catches him into a suplex. Yeah. That's like, so you catch him first, you twist him around and throw him up, and then you catch him into a suplex and then actually suplex him. That's got to be a lot of strength.
There's a lot of strength. They're both really good technical wrestlers as well. I think a lot of people think Jonathan Gresham's the best technical wrestler in the world right now. Yeah. Certainly for pound anyway. But yeah, no, Bro Keller's definitely up and coming. I listed him as my most improved. It was really difficult to pick that category. I actually looked at some of the matches from over a year ago, and I'd forgotten. Bro Keller was like the first match. because that shows you how much he's improved. This is like match 9. He's really moved up the card. He's like the real superstar now, where it used to be like a pre-match. I actually thought Cool Caution Kyle was the first time we saw him, but I guess he had some matches earlier. He was at the, I think it was the Pumpkin Laureate or whatever it was called.
Yeah, Pumpkin Latte.
Yeah, something like that. So, but yeah, no, he's come a long way. All right, anything else for this one?
Yeah,
I got a few.
Bro slips off the ropes and into a relatable Jeff Hardy Jinder Mahal moment.
Yeah, he was. He was trying to do a springboard attempt, and yeah, he slipped. But luckily, I'm gonna say they carried on, and the rest was fine after that. But yeah, that was a little unfortunate.
Gresham and Bro trade pins, and then I have the ending.
And that's when I got multiple pin attempts. There was reversals. It was like 1, 2, and then it was flip over. 1, 2, flip. I thought that was really good as well. I did get Bro Keller started really quick in this match. He had a huge bulldog at the start, and then yeah, I'm ready for the ending as well. So go ahead.
So Gresh just rolls up, Bro.
I got a bridging back cradle, it says here.
Oh.
After the match, but you're right. Basically what you said is correct. And then at the end of the match, the crowd were cheering for both these guys again. And same thing. It's like, I was just sat back and enjoyed that match. I like both of those wrestlers. There's a lot of matches in Nova Pro where it's like that. You like not rooting for one or the other. You're just looking for a good wrestling match. Gresham praised Bro Keller, and a lot of people have been praising him. Safety First obviously praised him as well after their match fairly recently. And then Bobby came back again and he attacked him again. So I think at some point, I think it's pretty obvious we're going to be getting Bro Keller versus Bobby Shields. And the commentary said that the reason Bobby keeps attacking him is he's kind of jealous that Bobby only gets like the first or second matches now, whereas Bro gets the end matches.
He didn't get a match on here.
Where we didn't know. Whereas normally it used to be the other way around. So, all right, match 10. This was the one that we were disappointed that we didn't get to see.
Finally, you get the main event.
This is the Fans Bring the Weapons match. This was Brittany Blake versus Tara Calloway. And we couldn't even give a weapon to somebody to bring to this event because Mommy cleaned it out at Thanksgiving, so there was nothing we could do about this one. We already talked about some of the items that they had there. All right, do you want to talk about the match?
Brittany Blake and Tara Calloway both come out with a kendo stick.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have like a Star Wars, you know, like the lightsabers. They have like a lightsaber fight about their kendo sticks.
Sure. So a kendo stick fight?
Yeah. And then Tara gets hit with a hockey stick.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's at the start.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those
the mini one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was autographed as well. Somebody bought in an autographed one.
Why?
I have no idea. I guess it might have been somebody who's it turned out not to be very famous in the end. It could be somebody who doesn't play for the Capitals anymore. Or I don't remember who autographed it, but I remember them commenting on that. I save all stuff like that, but I put it in my classroom. My classroom started to overflow a little bit, but no, I was surprised somebody bought in an autographed hockey stick. That's for sure.
I didn't see the autograph.
No, that was the part when
Nick Gage
was walking around.
I couldn't see that because he cursed like 15 times every second.
Yeah, you could watch that.
And he curses every 2 words on the commentary.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh, I think I must have left you to watch.
Commentary.
He was. I liked him on commentary. I forgot that. I just let you watch it because I'd already seen it, so I didn't watch the rest of it. Oh, I totally forgotten about that. Whoops. All right, go on. Tell us about this rest of this match.
Brittany plays the drums on Tara Calloway.
That didn't look like it did anything at all. That would look like the weakest thing at all.
Yeah, and Tara gets hit with the pizza cutter that Nick Gage brought in.
That didn't look. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah,
I got squeamish at that.
And especially, I liked it. I didn't think it looked too bad.
Okay.
But Nick Gage brought it in.
Which
it has to hurt when Nick Gage.
That definitely looks like a Nick Gage item.
And then Nick Gage liked the jingle bells.
The Sammy Calloway item, I think it's a Sammy Calloway item. He brings in a stapler sometimes, and then he'll try
Sammy
stapling.
Callahan?
What did I say?
Sammy Calloway.
I think I'm getting Drew Galloway and put that.
You said
Sammy Callahan is what I meant.
Yeah.
He brings in I saw it on MLW before you watched. I think it was. He brings in a piece of paper and he staples it to their head.
Ouch.
That one I really like as well. I think that's one of his that he does. And I think I saw that at Beyond once as well. The effect looks really cool. Obviously, it's just one staple, but I wouldn't want stapling in the head. But when you've got a picture of them and you staple it, you get one of their 8x10s and you staple it to their head. It looks hilarious.
I thought they should have bent the bottoms in and just put tape on the bottom.
They're trying to injure them, remember? That wouldn't, if you just tape it, that wouldn't... Oh, you mean on the staple itself? I thought you meant you get a piece of sticky tape and just stick it to his
No,
head.
like have some double-sided tape and then stick it on their head.
Oh, okay.
But the staple is still there.
Oh, so it looks like it, but it doesn't actually go in? It drew blood.
I know.
So it definitely
at least it's not as bad as getting hit in the eye with a baseball
bat. Yeah. Although Eddie Edwards seems to have done pretty good out of that. He made that... I was going to say, he was really cool about that afterwards. It was an accident, and he's actually used that to his advantage. Pretty much like Nia Jax does with her as well, with breaking Becky's nose.
Now she's called the face breaker.
Yeah, I guess, well, what can you do? If it's already happened, you might as well just make the most of it, I guess. Yeah. And it certainly didn't do Becky any harm either. Yeah. So, alright, let's get back to this match.
Blake hits Tara with a pan.
With a what?
A pan.
Oh, I thought you said a pin.
No.
A pan. Oh, okay.
And then Blake hits Tara with the tube. Like one of those, like, cardboard tubes out of the wrapping paper.
After the wrapping, yeah.
Those are kind of thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the shark cage gets used when, Harlow comes out, and then with neon lights.
And I don't have much for this, so I'm going to jump in at this point. This is the first thing I actually had written down. Harlow comes out, she brings in the light tubes, she holds Brittany Blake, and it looks like she's in trouble because it's 2-on-1. But actually, Penelope Ford comes out. She climbs on top of the cage, and she actually takes out both of them. And then those two actually go back into the back, so it just leaves it once again with Tara and Brittany Blake.
And then, Blake is on the top rope. Tara's just standing there with the lights under her.
Mm-hmm.
Blake kicks Tara on top of the lights, and they all get smashed.
Mm-hmm.
2 count.
I was shocked by that. I haven't seen many of those death matches, but I assumed that if you went through the lights, that was the end of the match, pretty much. And kick out at 2. I was shocked by that. But I was kind of also happy about it as well, because I knew that they hadn't used Maddie's Pinata at this point as well. And I was really wanting to see that one. Okay.
And then, actually, that's how it ends up. So, Blake gets smashed through Maddie's Pinata for the 3 count.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel so bad if you actually lost the match for somebody.
I would think it's pretty cool if your weapon is the main one that gets used.
But, true. And I would like it if Tara lost and it was mine. My weapon, but...
Yeah, I was hoping Brittany Blake would win this one, I gotta admit. And there was the other one, but the Batman figure, it did get used, and I'm trying to think who it was. I think that was Zach's. I think I heard that.
Yes, it was.
And Sean from Squared Circle commented as like, oh, they killed Batman, and he has a... Oh, never mind. Because obviously he doesn't have a family. Yeah. I like that. I thought that was one of the quotes of the night.
What was your favorite weapon?
Just because it was a Christmas thing, I actually like the wrapping paper. I know it's not the best weapon, but just because it was Christmassy, I thought that was kind of cool.
My favorite weapon was probably the tubes.
The actual light tubes?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a different one. But nobody brought those. Harlow brought those.
If somebody brought it, it would probably be Maddie's.
That was cool as well.
Creative.
I like that. I like the fact that there was all those drawing pins you could pour it down, and yeah, you gotta have the pins for matches like that. I think it was Beyond afterwards. They had a Bring Your Weapons match. They looked far worse than what people were bringing into Nova Pro. But I think they've been doing it a lot longer. This is the first one that Nova Pro's ever had.
What kind of weapons were there?
I didn't see all of it. I just saw like one, and I tried to stay awake for it, and I couldn't stay awake. So I didn't see that.
At least it's not as bad as 20,000 Thumbtacks.
Ooh, that one was...
Even the ref had to wear gloves.
That was crazy.
The ref wore gloves for this match, too, though.
I'm not surprised. If there's blood anywhere, they have to. And if you've got sharp items like that can cause blood, then that would make sense that you'd wear gloves for something like that. Now, actually, that was the last event in 2018, which we talked about. And they've released tickets for most of the 2019 tickets already. So they've already announced on February 15th in Annandale, Ain't That a Kick in the Head. 9th of March in Annandale, Calling All Girls, and then they also have the pre-show. They have the tryout show before that, like Sink or Swim last year. So there's 2 events for us on that day. 30th of March, they're returning to the Ox Brewery, called Well, We All Make Mistakes. WrestleMania weekend, April 6th in Jersey City, Born to Run. And then on June 7th and June 8th, back in Annandale, there's the Commonwealth Cup weekend over 2 days. So they've already announced the first 5 events, and you can buy tickets for those if you go to their website. I'm sure if you go to @VA Wrestling, if you look at their pinned post, you can see exactly how to get tickets if you want to go there.
Is the Calling All Girls like Cupid's Chokehold?
Calling All Girls is going to be an all-female event
Okay.
again. And we know some of the people who are going to appear in that. Oh, the thing I should have mentioned as well, the one in Ashburn on the 30th, Jordan Grace is going to be returning for that. And Tito Santana is going to be returning as well. He's going to be facing Coach Gator. So, so we've got a few names coming up. All right, anything else to finish this one up with, Mason?
No.
Normally we'd talk about like what we did afterwards, if we saw anyone, or the ride home, and like I say, we saw this on separate days on TV, so I think that should wrap it up just fine.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was ZigZag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/.
M is for Mason.